Hi, welcome back to a brand new episode on the theframedsolutions podcast. Welcome. If you're listening on YouTube, please let me know what you think about this episode once it's done. Otherwise, today I want to talk to you about mindset. Mindset is a very important component of your life. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he. When you think you're going to succeed, you'll find everything in you to succeed. And when you think you're going to be a failure, you'll find everything in you to fail. Our thoughts can either self-sabotage us or self-promote us. With self-sabotage, it comes down to not putting in practice things that you want to achieve. Many of the instances in my life, I self-sabotaged. For instance, in 2015, right after I'd moved to Australia, I wanted to start my YouTube channel, but I self-sabotaged that idea. Had I started my channel 9 years ago, it would be totally different for me. I really knew deep down in my gut I needed to create a YouTube channel, but I found all the evidence not to do so. In 2022, as the year was ending, I decided to start my YouTube channel. And today, it's growing gradually. When I started my YouTube channel, my mindset was, let me document my postpartum weight loss journey. A year later, I've lost close to 40 pounds, and I documented this journey on my YouTube. If you don't follow my YouTube channel, it's Faith Lizzie's Corner. Go out and check it out for yourself. Mindset is important. And when you have your mind right, you will achieve your goals. Even if it might take you longer than anticipated, in the end, you'll find all the proof to achieve your goals. So, I'm asking you, what mindset do you have about your life now? What mindset do you have about your career? What mindset do you have in your business? If you're on YouTube, leave me a comment and let me know. If you're listening to this podcast, you can DM me your mindset on the Frame Solutions Instagram page. The name is the Frame Solutions, and let's continue the chat there. So, the first thing I want to tell you about mindset is that you can change your mind. You have to believe that your mind can change. When you decide to change your mind, how do you do it? It's by reframing your thoughts. In the book of Romans chapter 12, the Bible tells us, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but renew your mind. To renew your mind, that means you're reframing it. You are looking at the facts and letting go of the irrational decisions and the irrational thoughts that come in your head. I've coached countless clients, and many of my clients come to me with the idea, my career is failing. I ask them, why is your career failing? They say it's failing because my boss is not supporting me. I don't see a way out. I'm failing to advance. I'm in a toxic environment. They look at the external factors that are affecting their life or their career. With the external factors, you have no control over them. But you have to go back to your internal GPS and recalibrate it. Your internal GPS are your thoughts and your actions, because your thoughts lead to your beliefs and your beliefs lead to your actions. If you believe you're a failure, certainly you're going to fail. If you believe you're going to succeed, certainly you'll find every possible way to succeed at that venture that you're in. So, how do you reframe your mind? You reframe your mind by what you consume, what you think about yourself, what thoughts you have about yourself, and finding the support you need to overcome that hurdle. While I was on my Instagram, I read something that sounded that you are an average of the 5 people whose content you consume. The saying originally says you're an average of the 5 people you spend your time with. In this digital age, it's turned to you are the average of the 5 people whose content you consume. With consumption of knowledge, of information, we tend to pick up so many vices and good things. If your mind is bombarded with information that is motivating, that is stimulating, that is encouraging, you will feel you're in a great place to take those risks. You'll feel you're in a great place to do whatever you have to do to get ahead. But if your mind is bombarded with negativity, self-doubt, fear, comments from people about how you're failing, you are going to find every reason to fail at that venture you're going in. So, to start with your reframing of your mind, do an audit of your environment. What information do you consume? Which people are in your circles? Where do you hang? What are you drawn to every day? You get it. Audit your environment to make sure that it suits the goals and the ambitions that you've set for yourself. If your environment is right, you are going to be right in your headspace. Number 2 is declutter your life. Declutter your phone, declutter your computer, declutter your friendships and your relationships with others, and make sure that the people in your circle are going to propel you to be a better person. I love this revolution that's going on. Many of my friends and colleagues are very ambitious, and it's these people that encourage me to do what I do. When I go to watch their Instagram stories or chat with them on WhatsApp or link up with them in terms of communication, phone calls, I see they're doing something for themselves. That way, I'm motivated also to continue pursuing my goals. The same applies to finding people who can mentor you. Mentorship doesn't mean that you have to know the person on a one-to-one basis. Someone can mentor you from how they communicate, what information they share. Many of my mentors are actually virtual mentors who I've watched over the years, and I've loved to see their transformation, which they document on their social media, on their newsletters, their emails. And every time I read an email from one of my mentors, I'm able to push harder. I'm able to change my mindset because I'm consuming information that is in line with the person I want to become. So as you audit your environment, find those people who are going to propel you into becoming that person that you want to become. Number 3 is journaling. Many people think journaling is woohoo, like it's for people who just want to write whatever they have to write, who have to give an account of their day. But journaling can transform your mind. I love to journal. In fact, I have close to 6 journals. Each of them does a different thing. But in my journals, I sit down and evaluate my thoughts. On days that I feel I'm undermotivated, like today I didn't feel like recording this episode. But when I went to my book, I checked out some things that I could use to help me make this episode. So journaling can be a point for you to tap into your subconsciousness, whereby you're going to sit down and record your thoughts as they're flowing in your head. Do not edit them out, just write. Let's say you're tackling a job loss and you're looking for a new job, but you've applied for jobs and you're not getting jobs. So you're getting this thought, no one's going to hire me. I feel I'm not competent. I feel like I'm not going to get a job. No one is hiring me. I'm just only getting regrets. I think I'm a failure. Sit down and write the reasons as to why you think you're going to fail. Sit down and write why your job applications have not been successful. Try to dig in and see what loopholes might you not have covered. What are those points that are not helping you be shortlisted? Is it your cover letter? Is it your motivation statement? Is it your resume that's not depicting the skills that you have? Think of it in that way. And as you do, what will happen? You'll be able to arrive at the root cause of why you're failing. Mindset is really very important, and journaling can help you unlock that subconsciousness and to see your thoughts for what they are, and help you reframe your thoughts and reframe the way you're thinking about things. That way you can make the progress that you need. Let me know if you want me to do a detailed episode on how I journal. But for me, journaling, it's essentially sitting down and writing my thoughts as they flow. And as you journal, try to write your journal entries in a third-person narrative. Third person is very good. You try to get yourself out of the scenarios. I do this very often. So I'll say, Faith, You failed at this. Let's uncover the reasons as to why you failed. I have mentioned my name. That means I'm detaching myself from the statement, so I can look at it with an objectivity eye, whereby I'll analyze it to find out why might I have failed? What could have led to this failure? What can I learn from this failure? Was there anything I took for granted? Was there anything I could improve? You see, by mentioning my name, I'm trying to think at it critically. I learned this through the Solomon paradox. If you know the Bible, you know that King Solomon is recorded to be the most intelligent person to ever live. King Solomon was very good at solving other people's problems because they were not his problems. But when it came to solving his own problems, he could not solve his own problems because he attached so much emphasis on himself as Solomon that he didn't see his problems objectively. So when you employ the third person narrative, you are like interviewing yourself. You put yourself out of the picture so that you can analyze the situation objectively and come up with solutions that are going to help you. Number 4, how you're going to change your mind is going to be through reading. Guys, I don't know how much I should tell you about reading. There are so many books that you can read about any topic that's going to help you get ahead. I like to share this example. Getting into entrepreneurship, I didn't come from an entrepreneur home. I didn't study entrepreneurship or even business. I didn't even study economics in high school. But I've learned everything I've learned on this entrepreneur journey by reading. There are books about mindsets, there are books about habits, there are books about marketing, there are books about sales, books about becoming a writer, books about literally anything. You just have to find that book and read it. What reading does, it opens for you different avenues to look at scenarios. You can learn from the author's experience and pick insights that you can apply in your life. Reading can open up for you a different gateway of opportunities as you learn from someone's failures so that you don't employ them in your life. So if you're not reading, you are missing out on changing your mind. The next point is taking risks. However much you do everything else that I've said, if you don't take risks, you are not going to get out of that comfort zone. Take calculated risks. And as you take calculated risks, every time you get a progress, come back and evaluate that progress. As you evaluate that progress, you are going to create the confidence to believe that you have whatever it takes to achieve those goals that you've set. Risk taking is very important for anything. If you want to change your life, bet on yourself. Bet on yourself and do what you say you're going to do. As you bet on yourself, you create that self-belief that if I've achieved this, if I've achieved A, I can achieve B, C, D, E, F until Z, or Z as some people call it. Risk-taking is going to help you build that coat. I like to think about it as a coat. Let's say, which animal do you know that has a very thick coat? A very big skin. The skin that protects it. The one that comes into mind is a tortoise or a turtle. Their skins are built for that environment they live in. But for them to become what they become, they need to evolve over time. And that evolving requires them to take some risks. And as they take risks, they build a layer of skin to help them survive in the cold, to help them survive in the environment they live in. And each time they take another risk, another layer is built. In the end, they have this thick layer that cannot easily be broken, whether by bad weather, whether by stone. They are well protected. That's the analogy I like to think about when it comes to taking risks. When you decide to take a risk, you build a layer of resilience, a layer of self-belief, a layer of confidence, and a layer of perseverance. As you launch out into this risk-taking, you are creating that confidence to believe in your capabilities. You're creating that growth out of your comfort zone. Because you know the saying that goes that we only grow outside our comfort zones. And for you to grow out of your comfort zone, you have to take risks. And when you take risks, you change your mindset. You know, it's really a 360 when it comes to changing your mind. Let's say my goal is to start a business. A, I'll write the proposal. B, I'll find the idea. C, I'll launch my business to a small group, evaluate my progress. D, I'll venture out into a bigger undertaking. E, I might launch it further. Every layer and every step I'm taking on that journey of starting that business, it's creating in me that self-belief, that self-resilience to continue, to keep pursuing my goals. So when you take risks, you create confidence in yourself, you build resilience, and also you can learn from the risks that you've taken. Those risks are going to give you proof of what is possible if you decide to take more risks. Mindset is a very important component when it comes to any aspects of your life. This year, if you want to make big leaps and bounds in your career, decide to work on your mindset. I could go on and on about mindset, but if you don't decide to reframe your mind, how you think, how you talk to yourself, what you do, having self-belief, even the smallest goal that you have on your list this year will not come to pass. So since February is a month of love, I would like you to talk kindly towards yourself, because self-belief comes down to your self-image. How do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as a successful person or a person who is a failure? When you make mistakes, how do you address those mistakes? Do you beat yourself down and call yourself all those names? I'm dumb, I can never make it, this is what I am, I'm a failure. Or you sit down and objectively analyze the scenario, figure out the reasons as to why you might have failed. What could you have done differently? Are there steps that you took for granted? How about seeking out mentorship? How about seeking out support from other people who are doing it? That also starts with your mindset. So for February, I would like you to show up for yourself. This month, decide to show up when you say you're going to show up. If you have an appointment with a friend at 2 p.m. and they ask you, Faith, I'd like to meet you at 2 p.m. Do you show up at 2 p.m.? Yes. And if you can't make it at 2 p.m., you get in touch with your friend and tell them, hi, I'm running late, but I'll be there at 2:15. That's the same mindset you should have. This month, decide to show up for everything that you say you're going to show up. It might be waking up earlier to work on your side hustle or your side business. It might be updating your cover letter or your CV. It might be looking out for a mentor, getting into a coaching program, listening to a good podcast, reading a book, taking time to journal. When you decide to do something, do it to the best of your ability. Show up for yourself so that you can show up for others. The last point I want to talk about is decide to have positive self-talk. As you go on this mindset journey, your mind will be bombarded with different things. I don't promise that you won't feel undermotivated, that you won't feel like giving up on your goals, but each time you face a hurdle, sit back and analyze that situation. Talk kindly towards yourself. See yourself as a person who can achieve your goals. See yourself as a person who has made it this far. Look at your previous wins. What made you win? Is there anything you can learn from those wins? Look at your previous failures. How did you handle those failures? Was there anything that you learned from failing? The way I believe is that there's never failure. Every failure is a learning lesson and is a chance for you to pivot. So, mindset is very important. To create a success mindset, you have to do it on a day-to-day basis. You don't do one mindset session and quit. You have to continuously renew your mind, because every day presents different problems, presents different challenges, and you have to keep on working on your mind on a daily basis. If you've enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing to the podcast. YouTube, we are on. This year we're doing some videos and some audio, which are the podcasts. Follow on Spotify, follow on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Just search The Frame Solutions. If you want one-to-one help, you can book yourself a free 30 minutes call in the description of this episode. And if you're looking for somewhere to start on your career journey, download my blueprint to career clarity. The link is in the description of this episode. Otherwise, if you have any topics that you want me to address, my email address is also linked. Get in touch and let's talk. If you've enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend. And thank you so much for listening. I'll speak to you later in the next episode. Catch you later. Bye-bye. I hope you've learned something from this episode. And if you have, please rate and review wherever you listen to your podcast. Subscribe to this podcast. Share it with your family, friends, and those that you think are interested in career development. Also, follow me on the socials, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. The username is theframedsolutions. I can't wait to speak to you in the next episode. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.